welcome to the second episode of Help Me, Captain Douchebag. Tonight's episode, we are operating under cloak and dagger, under the cover of a crescent moon, because we are social media ninjas, and that's what social media ninjas do. Our first question tonight comes from a guy named Stan from Iowa, and he asks, what's the best Ninja Turtle, and why? Well, first off, we have to sort it by weapons and weapon type. Size are useless unless you're fighting people with other size, but other than that, they're completely useless. Next, nunchucks are completely ineffective, basically, unless you're able to hit a person right on top of the head, and that never happens unless they just happen to not have a bladed weapon. But if they do have a bladed weapon, you're pretty much fucked. So that pretty much just leaves Leonardo and Donatello. So then we have to narrow it down between two katanas or a bow staff. And I would say probably two katanas would be more effective against a bow staff, because if you can get past a bow staff, holy fuck, dude, that guy's missing arms, and he's got a severed carotid. Swords. Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Next question comes from Aaron from Texas, and he asks, if a polar bear is raping you, how do you enjoy it? Well, it's a difficult question. There are a lot of different ways I could go with it, but I would say I would have to refer back to my personal experiences with watching really crappy music videos on Fuse and observing how it turned from good music in 2005 into completely crappy music into 2008. So I would say just do what I did, which was just close your eyes and imagine Jason Statham reading you The Cat in the Hat in a really deep, husky, sultry voice. In fact, that's what got me through the entire year 2017. Yeah, it may not be pixie dust or cocaine, but it's better than biting your uncle's crusty sock while he lubes up his nether regions with KY in the corner. Our next question comes from Val from Iowa. She asks, how many Twizzlers can you fit up your butt at once? Well, I put a lot of thought and experimentation into this, and thus far the answer is actually 15. But with the present width of my anal cavity, I suspect I may be able to fit up to 20. However, this has not actually been alpha tested yet. It's still in the beta phase, so it's just a hypothesis. Our next question comes from Trista from Texas. She asks, what is the coolest thing you've done in the last 2 weeks and why? Well, Trista, I ate an entire pizza to myself. That was nice. I had some explosive diarrhea one day. You ever have that where you feel this intense pressure in your abdomen and you feel like you have to fart, but you know you can't trust it because it's just, there's something off about it. So you go to the toilet, right? And you're thinking, all right, this is gonna be a poo. But before you can even get yourself completely centered over the toilet, it just squirts out like a goddamn super soaker. And it ends up being a fucking diarrhea drive-by. Well, I've had a few of these in the last few weeks because I don't eat solid food. But I would say a few days ago was probably about the worst because it just sprayed completely all over the back of the toilet. And I wasn't even positioned over the back of the toilet. It made no sense logically. The amount of PSI that was in my diarrhea was a goddamn fucking medical miracle. So I would say, you know, that may not be the coolest thing. In my opinion, it was definitely the most impressive thing. And I guess that'll conclude tonight's Moonlight Vespertine episode of Help Me, Captain Douchebag. Whoa. Whoa.